Okay. So, next day was this one? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, how do I explain this? So this guy right here, Brandon, is Victor's. This is Victor. It's Victor's brother, older brother, and this is his family. And he's a firefighter, as you can probably tell by the bunker gear. And he wanted to do a family portrait with fire, and everyone in bunker gear. So we did that, and it was fun. It was interesting. I don't have a picture of the Creamer Cannon, but I guess that's not really the point of this blog. But so we made the Creamer Cannon, and long story short, it took us like 2 hours to get it going, but we eventually made it going with a bunch of tiki oil in a little can up here, and we got fired. So we started shooting, and this is what it looked like. Oops. Before editing. Not the best. That's with editing, pulling the shadows out of here, and it's noisy and not good. So then we tried this one. We pulled the fire that was up over here. We had 2 fires going. We pulled that one up a lot, put some wood on it, and that got brighter, but it still looked like that. No. Still not like it. Then that's the original shot. We added 2 strobes in. We had one over here, one over there, as you can kind of tell by the light. This one was gelled red to mimic sort of a fire. One over here was very, very slightly gelled orangish. So it gives a little bit more skin tone, and it's a little bit warmer. I think it's like a quarter CTO or something like that, which stands for color temperature orange, which is orange. So we had that. So that added in the front. In hindsight, it would have been nice to sort of up the gel's power and then stop down the aperture so we get more of this, of these, of the fire, of more of the details in the fire. But, of course, me being me, didn't exactly remember to do that. But, anyway, that's what we got. That's the one. Him, we could only shoot one frame. With these, you can see these are all shot in burst mode. But with the strobe, you can't do that. We got that one, and we got that one. That's how fast the strobes could recycle. So that one has the good fireball, which I like, but it's not behind them. So, and you don't get this nice, really nice highlight here. But his helmet's blown out. And on this one, his helmet's not, has really cool reflections, but you don't have that nice highlight. So it's like, oh, what do I do? Bridge them, obviously. So let's see if I can, I think it's this one. I'll open that, sort of run through the editing process. No, before I do that, I'll run through the camera settings. So with this, we got 1/200th of a second, f5.6, 92 millimeters, ISO 400. Not much to explain there, that's just the settings that would work. That's the net sync speed I can use. So most motion stopping for fire, f5.6, lowest aperture. Flashes have the most power. The flashes were the quarter power, so they could have gone up, but not that much. ISO 400 just because it was kind of dark out. Should have run the flashes at a higher power, but oh well. It worked out. So then for these, which I just got Fireball, because I wanted that nice fire action, these are at 1/320th of a second, 5.6, ISO 250. So stop down a bit, darker, as you obviously can see, and in burst mode just to get the flames. And then I did one here without anyone in it, up the ground, so I'd have an untouched ground. I wouldn't have Victor in it and all that stuff, and I could add that in later with this. So let's go over to Photoshop. So this is the first, yeah, This is the first group. So we got that. I used the helmet from here. I used the quick selection brush, this, to sort of roughly select it. And I went back in with a brush. You can see I had a little bit of low opacity, and this is all feathered nicely, so it blends well. And then I brought that in. Now that I do this, you can kind of tell what the grid is. But with this one, you get brightness, get some of the details in the shadows. I want to highlights one day in that, but I could do that in Lightroom. So I got this. I got the nice highlight in this. This is just the quick selection tool. Feathered, smooth. It doesn't have to be that good down here. It just has to, select everyone and have a nice soft edge. And I took that out a little bit because that fell over the flame nicely, blended in, so I didn't have to worry about that. So that's just with a quick selection tool and a brush, a soft brush, to kind of blend stuff in. So next for the fire, what I did, turn this off. And the reason I have this on is for selecting in here. Remember that. Brightens it up so I can kind of see what I'm doing in here. Without that, it could be kind of hard to figure out where the selections are. But anyway, I don't actually keep that on. That's just for editing purposes. So for that, just took all these fireballs, put them in the screen. I enlarged them so they filled more of the space, but that's about it. They already blended well because there was already a highlight behind them. Not that much to say. The ground was exactly the same exposure, so I didn't have to do anything about that, but I masked that out anyway, so I'm just using this fireball. That's it. And then the ground, I just stuck the ground in behind everything, and Victor had already been masked out, Ken had already been masked out. The exposures were exactly the same for the ground, so it just blended behind. Really simple. Really, really simple. So that's the compositing. Now over in the Lightroom, so what did I do? That's before, that's after. You can see pretty much all the edits are too brown, so it's all going to be adjustment brush stuff. We got one here. This is just over his face. You can see that. So that's highlights up. Like I was saying, I wanted to get those highlights on his face up. Gosh, that thing won't go away. Yeah. There we go. So that just gets his face a little bit. Brings the highlights up. Next one is this one. So with this one, highlights, shadows, just brightening it up a little bit. Nothing special. Maybe, I don't know, I think maybe I have a noise reduction, which I probably will a little bit. Just a little bit. So that just helps with noise. But that's about it. I think for throwing this together, super last minute, at like midnight, the kids were uncooperative. They were tired. I mean, it's like a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old or something like that. I don't know, don't quote me, I'm bad with ages. But young kids don't do well late at night. Everyone was super helpful though. Brandon was super into it. It's always nice as a photographer or anyone, really, when you're on a project and you're trying to get it done and people are actually helpful. So that's that. That's that photo.